Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam ma ba'd. Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah, they believe in the Hikmah, or the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they also believe in the Qadr, the divine destiny or decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the heavens and earth. And that everything is created for a purpose. And with regards to our actions and the things that we try to achieve in this worldly life, there are some very important principles that we should look at, which are principles of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's divine decree and His wisdom. And the first principle that I want to discuss is al-asbab mu'athira, meaning that the reasons or the means for achieving something has an effect on it. And this is a principle that most people hold, is that when it comes to achieving something, that if we make effort, we will achieve that thing. Ahlul Sunnah believes that, yes, that the efforts that we make, they have an effect upon the end result. So for example, a person who is sick or suffers from an ailment, or possibly a person suffers from cancer, from the various forms. Some people, they receive radiation treatment. Some people, they take various types of medication. Some people prefer a holistic treatment, naturopathy, and so forth. This is the asbab. That means they are trying to treat their ailment. They are making effort in order to achieve their desired result, which is being cured from the sickness of the disease of cancer. However, it comes to the second principle with Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah, which is in accordance with the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is that ta'thiraha bi'idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning that the effect, the end result, is in accordance with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in the first example that we made, for example, a person who is trying to treat cancer, and they go through radiation treatment. So they've taken a step, they've made an effort. They didn't just pray and sit, or they didn't just sit and not try to treat themselves, but rather they made an effort to try to cure themselves by going to the doctor and taking the prescribed medication. But the overall end result is only with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That the effect is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The person made the effort, they strove, but the end result is with Allah. For example, how many people do we know who've tried to obtain PhDs, or have tried to become lawyers or doctors or what have you, or professionals in various fields? They made effort, they strove, they bought their textbooks, they went to the university, they strove, they did their thesis and so forth, but maybe their end result was that they didn't achieve that degree, because the ultimate end result comes with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether those efforts that they made have their desired result, that is only with Allah. So this comes to the third principle. تَعَمُّلْ مَعَهَا بِأَبْدَانِ وَأَمَّا الْقُلُوبِ فَتَتَعَلَّقْ بِرَبِّ الْأَسْبَابِ. So this is a beautiful principle. This is the third principle related to the divine wisdom and decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala relating achieving things. And that is that we make our effort with our bodies. We strive with our bodies and with the means that we have at our disposal. But our hearts are reliant upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We tawakkal Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who is the creator of the results and the creator of the means and the of our efforts, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we rely, and our heart is related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is loving and depending and trusting in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our result, and we make our efforts. We make our efforts physically, but our heart is related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning our heart is reliant upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, putting our full trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the last principle is that Ahlul Sunnah la naj'al shay'in sababan li shay'in bidalil. That we do not say something is a means for achieving something except with evidence either from the Quran, evidence from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, or evidence from the people who have experience in that field, or what is generally accepted as a means for achieving something with the general people. Let's look at an example. For example, if we want to, for example, cure ourselves with something, a particular ailment, and maybe it's well known amongst people, or amongst the general people, that by eating garlic, for example, it's a natural antibiotic, and this is true. Garlic is a natural antibiotic. How do we know this? We know this from the people, from the general people, for example, in China and many other traditional societies that use that as a medication. We also know this from another reason. We know this from the people who have khibra, the people who have knowledge in that field, that they know, they've studied it, and they have experience in that. So we know that that is a reason that you can take as a natural antibiotic to cure certain sinus infections and other ailments that you may have. So we know this. We know that these reasons by evidence from the general people and evidence from the people who specialize in that field. Or for example, honey, the benefits of honey. Honey, we know it has many benefits. We know that from the Quran and the Sunnah. So we know it from evidence based on the Quran and the Sunnah. We also know it from the people, the general people in many cultures and customs. They use honey to cure themselves. And as a faida or a benefit, try, if you have a cut on your hand or a cut anywhere in your body, put some honey on it. Any kind of honey that is a form of natural honey, then you'll see that bi-idhnillah, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, that it will have the desired effect and it will help in your healing. Also maybe for infections, skin infections, like on your toes infection. Try honey and you'll see. And we know this from the Quran and the Sunnah, and we know this from experience, from the people who have experience in this matter. So those are just some of the principles, very important principles, related to the effects of our efforts, that ultimately Ahlul Sunnah believes that making efforts and trying things, that they have an effect. But the end result of those effects is by the permission of Allah. And that Ahlul Sunnah, we believe that we make our hearts dependent upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that we make efforts with our bodies by our striving and so forth. And that we do not call something for example, a reason for achieving something without evidence either from the Quran and the Sunnah, or evidence from the people who have experience in that field, or evidence from the general experience and the customs of the people, that people generally know that when you go to the university and you study, that you get the desired result of obtaining a degree, for example. And I ask Allah the Almighty to accept our good and protect us from evil and the evil of the shayateen, wherever they may be, in whichever form they may come. And may Allah bless all of our brothers and sisters who are being treated unjustly and oppressed in wherever land they may be oppressed and held without trial and detained and oppressed, and harm is caused to them. May Allah protect them, and may Allah preserve them, and may Allah bless them with true justice in this life as well as the hereafter. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad.